Hello, everyone, and welcome to our classical crossover interview with Miss Lucy Kay. We're so excited to have her.
Hello, thanks for having me.
How's everything? You're in London, or?
Yeah, I'm just outside of London at the moment, so yeah, it's a bit of a crazy time right now, but it's nice to be able to chat to you over the internet. We are very lucky to have these things.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely brought I think the crossover community closer because we're getting all these collaborations and everything online.
Yeah, absolutely. I think music's kind of empowered people and brought them closer together. So that's the wonders of music. So we're very fortunate to be performers and be able to do that as well. Even non-performers as well. It's been nice to see, general public just get together and have sing-songs out the windows, especially in Italy. That was so beautiful to see on their balconies. That was wonderful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's amazing the way the music is bringing us together. I think what I might do is just kind of start for the people that may not know you way back at the beginning, and then we'll ask some questions along your career. So I believe you started singing after you heard Charlotte Church?
Yes, I mean, I've always been fascinated with opera and classical music since the age of 2, really.
Wow.
My mum says that I used to turn the dial on the radio and I'd get to like Classic FM and I'd dance around the room, and they thought that was a bit weird at that time for a little girl to be able to pinpoint what she liked. And then I heard Charlotte Church and I saw her on TV. And I think she sang Pia Jesu. And I remember just thinking, I just want to be her. If I could be her, it would just be amazing. And so, I started singing, when I was about 6 or 7 then. So it was, she was definitely an inspiration at that time.
And you went straight into lessons, or you went to choir first?
So I went into a couple of lessons, and then my teacher said to my mum, she's quite advanced for her age already, which was absurd really in my eyes because I was just singing, and so she recommended a choir called Cantamus based in Mansfield. They're a world-renowned choir. We compete across the world, and so I went for an audition. I think it was about the age of 7, and I sang Pia Jesu. And I got in, so I was in that choir for 13 years then, and we travelled to all over the world and competed in the World Choir Games.
Wow.
We won numerous gold medals. It's crazy the things you can do as choirs and what's out there. So that really ignited my passion for singing and took me to a whole new level. And that's where my career really started to blossom, because then obviously after 13 years I went on to music college and went into full-blown opera singing and classical music.
And choral singing is very big in England, isn't it? It's like very much a community.
Yes, yeah, it is, and it was so wonderful to have that at the time, especially being so young as well. It taught us discipline. It taught us that we can come together, harmonies, and sing as one voice, really. And it's nice. It is such a community spirit. And I definitely, my 13 years in Cantamus, I'll never get that back. I'll never be able to have what I had then again. But they are memories that will stay with me for life.
Awesome. It's been really magical to be a part of that. And then from that, what was it like when you decided to go to university? Because that's a big prep period to get into these schools, right?
Yeah, so, well, I had a bit of a troubled childhood. It wasn't the best start. I was bullied for singing classical music because it wasn't deemed cool enough. But look at me now. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
And so I was bullied for about 10 years, and it went on obviously into my my teens. Wasn't that great, but then I then had a teacher who named Elaine Guy, who literally took me from obviously my school and my lessons where I wasn't really learning much, and taught me basic theory for music because I didn't have a clue at all or anything, and then she was helping me with my A-level music as well, and then helped me prepare for my audition at music college. And it was scary, but she got me there, her and Pamela Cook, who was the founder of the choir. And I really have them to thank to where I am today, because if it wasn't for their love, generosity and kindness, especially in a vulnerable time in my life, I'm not sure what I would be doing these days. So I do have them to thank for that.
Yeah, like mentors are so important, especially to young artists. And I do think, unfortunately, like you mentioned, getting bullied, a lot of people who start doing classical music early do face a unique set of challenges, even sometimes from people in the classical field. So it's really important to have those mentors who are going to stick with you. So then you went to the Conservatory of Scotland.
Yes, I did. Yes, and I'm pretty much a home bird as well. So, or I was at that time, and I went quite late. I was about, I think I was 20, turning 21, and I remember just thinking, I can't leave my family. I can't do this, but I'd always wanted to go there because when I auditioned there, they were so loving, and they said to me on the day of my audition, "This is your place. This is where you need to be." And I felt that love completely. And yes, I took the offer and I went, and it was so scary because I'd always been in the choir, so I'd never really gone out of those kind of little perimeters that I had and experienced life outside of that bubble. And I went, and it was life-changing. It was amazing, one, for my self-esteem, making new friends, being in a different place, not being at home all the time, and embracing that new knowledge and everything that I was given, all these lectures, the singing classes, the composition and everything, that I literally was just I was astounded by how much work we had to do, but it was phenomenal. I had such a wonderful time there.
And there you did some opera scenes, or did you do full operas, or?
So I remember in my first year, I was very lucky to be chosen to play various different roles in opera scenes. And I was Elvira's maid. It was wonderful. There was lots of different things. Did Gloriana from Faust, and it was just, I remember people going, "That's really odd for a first year to be able to be singing with master students." And I just remember taking the opportunity with both hands and just being like, yes, and running with it and just being so excited about it all. And then I played one of the 14 angels in Hansel and Gretel, and we did kind of a modern twist on it. So I thought I was going to be an angel, and I was so excited about it. And they said, "But we've got a twist. We're going to make this a modern opera where the angels will be in the form of something that you least expect to be an angel and to look after two children." So I was a homeless person. So I had no makeup on, I had wrinkles drawn on, horrible clothes and ripped clothes, and mud in my, dirty teeth, mud in my fingernails and everything. So that was my experience of a modern take of an opera. So, so it was. And then the next one, we did the Magic Flute, and I played. I was in the chorus, and I was one of the trouser roles as well. So it was
cool.
Kind of, yeah. We did lots of things. So, and I just wanted to wear a pretty dress, really. Had fun. It was fantastic. And I remember my first year as well. I won the Highgate competition as well. We did there, so that was, for me, it really started to open so many doors, and for lots of competitions. So I felt like I'd never had done local competitions, but this was something else. This was against lots of singers from lots of different years, and it was terrifying, but it was amazing as well. So I had some of the best tutors. It was wonderful.
That's amazing. I love what you said with them saying that this is your place at the school. That's what you want, is a university that's going to love you and want you there. But did you feel like at some point, you're starting to learn what's my flock, what roles I would do, but did you start thinking, you know, opera's wonderful, but maybe it's not the perfect fit for all my different, you know,
Oh
musical
yes,
tastes.
very early on actually. I remember always looking at the musical theatre school as well. That was this part of the conservatoire, and I remember being like, oh, I wish we did something that involved a lot more dance, a lot more different styles with the voice. And I was compelled to other parts of the arts, and I kind of I always thought, oh, I would love to be able to emulate Catherine Jenkins at the time. For me, I just thought if I could be a commercial singer, I would be laughing. That would be something that I really wanted to be. And that stems from Charlotte Church as well. So I knew that opera was in too much of a box, a pigeonhole for me. And I wanted to widen the spectrum. I wanted to be a lot more diverse in what I could do with my voice. And so I started to teach myself to sing different things and to do musical theatre, jazz, anything, rock. And I just went for it. And yeah, so then that's why I kind of went on to a TV programme, because I wanted to enable to enable that career, because I didn't know how else I was going to ever get my foot through the door. So yeah, it was very suppressive at that time at music college, because they want you to go down the straight operatic route.
Of course, yes. Yeah, no, I remember when I went to university, they didn't really encourage us singing theater or something, and you're like, no, just let us do a Disney concert for once.
Absolutely.
So did you go, was it straight after graduation you went to Britain's Got Talent, or did you kind of try and do like events or stuff?
So it was during my last year, and I was coming up to my last recital, and I got scouted for it actually, because I did audition the year before, and I didn't get anywhere. So I just thought, oh well, I'm obviously not very good at singing. That's what I thought. And then
that's what you think, right? Something must be wrong with me.
So you just think, oh no, they've said no, that's it, I can't sing. So then I was scouted the next year, and I said, but I've done it, I already did it. And they said, but if you think about it, they've got a criteria to fill, and they probably already had 2 singers or a singer, which they did. They had Jonathan and Charlotte at the time. So I was like, right, okay, so I'll give it another shot. I thought I performed horrendous, and it was a nightmare. And I was like, that's it, I'm not doing things like this ever again. And I got a phone call saying I got through to the live finals. So yeah, it was during that time, and then I got through to obviously each round, and I had my recital, I think it was about a week after, and it was crazy, but unfortunately, I didn't get the support from the college at the time, not from everybody, because it was seen as a very naughty word, Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Trained all this while, why would you go on a TV show? And my answer to that was, because you aren't letting me go down the career that I want to do. You want to make me into straight opera or straight classical. You have not opened those boundaries for me to dive into several different art forms. And I think I did, we had a lecture, and we could do these, I think it was in 3rd year, and we could put 2 kind of like curriculums together. And I said, right, well, I want to do opera and musical theatre, and that should be, as a class, that should be something that we can have in the school. And so we went on about why, and I wrote this long essay about why, and I mean, obviously back in those days they were like, no, but now they're opening up to that. Yes. And you are able to do different things. So yeah, they didn't really support me on my journey. But then when I actually got somewhere and I brought my album out, that's when the music college was shouting about it. So quite funny.
Now, your audition piece, I mean, of course, there's the classical crossover standards we all do the prayer and this kind of stuff. But I love that you auditioned with VC Dart, which was something that I don't think had been on a Got Talent show before.
No, so I will tell you, I mean, I look back at that video and I cringe every single time. Because they said to me, we want you to sing what you want. So I was like, right, okay, well, I'll sing a song that they haven't heard before. And then they said to me, no, you've got to sing Who Wants to Live Forever. And so, because they will choose the songs for you.
Yeah.
And so they said, have a few lined up, but it'll only be like 30 seconds or a minute of each song after that. So I was like, fine, I'll only learn parts of the songs. And then Simon put his hand up, because I already said Who Wants to Live Forever was in the wrong key for me, which they still gave me that key. I had to do it. And he put his hand up and said, this is a really bad audition. So that's what you don't see. And
oh, wow.
I literally was mortified. That's why I was shaking. I was like, I've just disgraced myself on national TV. Only to do it again, which was when I sang Visitarte, they then carried the track on and they weren't stopping. And I was standing there like, I'm having to make up some of the words.
Wow.
Which I did. Yes, which I did. So if you look back at that video, there's like the second half of it, I'm just making it up. And I remember some of the real opera buffs going, she didn't know the words. And I was like, no, because I told you that they only required 30 seconds of it, but they carried it on.
Oh my goodness. So then they give the backing track and everything. It's not like you come with that. That's terrifying.
Yeah, so they could just say, no, continue, and you could be standing there and not know it. But I just thought, he's already said that this is really bad audition. I can't make them think that I don't know this song. And obviously I'd listened to it a few times, so it was just a few words that I was getting a bit mixed up because obviously I didn't know it fully.
Yeah.
And so I just blagged it and then they were like, we didn't know that piece of operatic aria. We didn't know it, but it was wonderful. I was like, well, I felt like saying I didn't know it either.
That's such a great story. I love it. But that's the thing with television, though. I feel like sometimes they're a bit dramatic. Like Griffith Wynn, when he did his audition, they were like, the first one, oh, it's so terrible. And I was like, it's really not, though. It's actually very quite good. But yeah, that's a hilarious story. I love it. So right afterwards, you got signed by Sony Classical and you did your first album, Fantasia. And that's pretty strictly classical. Was that like, did you get to choose your songs, or was that kind of put on you, or?
I got to choose a few.
Okay.
Which there's some in there that obviously you can tell that Song from the Moon was something I wanted. Samson and Delilah, I did want that in, but they wanted me to change the words to English so that the Joe Blogs who aren't the opera buffs could understand the songs better. But in my eyes, that's fine. I love an English translation.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel that if you, like me, if there's some areas of music that I'm quite a novice at and I don't know anything about it, I will listen to it and I will take it from here, how I feel, not necessarily knowing knowing what the words mean, because most of the things I sing, I have a brief knowledge of what it's about, but I totally dismiss that and I sing it from here and give it, and then you take what you want from it. And it's like I always say that O mio bambino caro, if people really knew what the translation was about, they wouldn't be feeling the things that they do feel when they listen to it, because it's the Puccini writes so romantically and so beautiful that people are taken and drawn into different corners of their memories and feelings. So I just think for the listener, it's important for them to just be transported by the emotion in the song, not necessarily the words.
So after that, you went to #1. It's amazing.
Yes.
First album.
It was crazy. I remember feeling like it was a dream at a time. It was something I've always wanted to do. And going back to the question where you said, was that my choice? Most of it I had a criteria to fill, so it was kind of like an ABC or paint by numbers of classical and opera, which we had that criteria to fill, as they need to sell kind of, they need to sell copies. So but yeah, it went to #1 and I was ecstatic. It was an amazing feeling and something I've ticked off now.
Absolutely. And then you started going on, all the media, This Morning, Songs of Praise, and then you got to sing with Andrea Bocelli, which is amazing. What is like a favorite memory from that experience?
Oh gosh, it was amazing singing with him. It was terrifying. I was terrified. And I was at the O2. We didn't have any previous rehearsals. It was all learning the stuff at home. And there was 2 parts to every music. And I said, oh, is this what Andrea Bocelli is singing? And I'm singing this part? Because it didn't really state especially in Viva per Lei, it didn't state at all. And they said, oh, he'll sort it out with you on the day. So I was that's fine. Here's another funny story. We got to the rehearsal, rehearsed Canto della Terra, fine. Other things, fine. And then we didn't do Viva per Lei. So I assumed that we were not doing that. We were doing that, and I walked on stage, and the music started to play, and I just thought, oh my gosh, I don't know what part he's singing. So I had to go off on him breathing to know when I wasn't singing, and to him just kind of standing there to when I was about to sing, and it was terrifying. I have a lot of funny stories, but these are the ones that I couldn't take it in fully of how amazing it was, because I was so scared.
Trying to survive your next line.
Yeah, it was amazing. But it was so, I didn't have time to appreciate it because I was going, he's going to sing this bit, now it's me.
But that's, it's a good thing you went and you have all that training in learning. You said your teachers are teaching you the theory, because you do get thrown into these crazy situations where it's
absolutely, yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen next.
That's live music, guys.
So after you did your album, you started kind of going off as an indie artist. And then you started doing theater. So that must have been amazing. You did the narrator?
Yeah, so I did the narrator in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We did a UK tour for Bill Kenwright, and I did the role again for the second year. So I did it in 2016 and 2017. And we had 10 shows a week. And we had 3 on a Saturday. And for anyone that knows Joseph knows that the narrator sings the entire show. And I remember just thinking, this is crazy, because in classical, in operas and things, we would never be singing that many shows.
Yeah.
And so hats off to the musical theatre people, because they are tanks. They just go for it. It's amazing. But I remember I had a few shows off on the first tour because I was not ready. My voice was not ready for the stamina of that role. And then in the second time I did the role, I sang for 6 months straight, 10 shows a week. And I did it without letting my understudy go on at all. But I wanted to prove to myself, I feel really bad, but I wanted to prove myself that I could do it. And I remember getting to the end of the run and just thinking, thank goodness it's over. But it was amazing. But that's something I wanted to do. We were dancing, acting, singing. I was interacting with lots of children. And the people you meet along the way, the venues you perform at, it was wonderful, and something that I do want to do again. I do want to be in musicals, because I do think they are fantastic, and it's good fun.
I mean, I love opera. I was taught classically, but I have to admit I listen to more musical soundtracks. I don't know if it's the same for you, like on repeat, right? So I can totally understand.
Absolutely.
Now, did you feel like you had such a long time with that character? Do you feel like your portrayal evolved over like the next couple months you're doing it, every time you're getting new favorite songs? Or
Yes, I mean at the beginning it was just trying to remember the words, really, try and remember the colours, the brothers' names, which changed twice in a show. So they're in a order. Once you learn one order, you've got to learn another. And there was lots of things that kind of helped, and especially the children. It would depend on what kind of children's choir you got, and I always made sure that I spoke to them before we went on stage in the rehearsals, because they were a new choir each week. So we were in one place for 1 week, and we had a brand new choir the next week. And I just thought it was important for them as well to know that, you know, we're not superior in any level. We are on their level, and they will work just as well if you connect with them. And I remember a lot of them saying thank you so much, because I had really bad nerves and you were the nicest one that came to speak to us all the time. And I guess I felt that it was my job as well, because I was the narrator and I was interacting with them. I was telling them a story, and I don't have children, so for me I had to really try and mother the two children I was walking around the stage with first, and then really pick out a cutie and think that that was my daughter or that was my son, and I'm telling them this fantastic story. And it did progress, and my second time I did it, that was when I really felt that I was in the role at certain points, and I could sing it as if I had been through it, and that I was their parent telling them this magical story. But I also felt that it was difficult, because you had to pretend that it was the first time you had even told them this story. So the words for you were the same thing over and over again to the audience, but I had to treat it as if they'd never seen this show before. And that was difficult, because you can get complacent, especially with 3 shows on a Saturday. You're tired. You have to remember that they're paid money to come and see it for the first time. So yeah, it was hard, but I feel that I got there in the end.
Oh, that must have been so awesome for the kids. I think, you know, when you meet somebody, I'm sure you met stars at young age. I got to meet Charlotte, which I was obsessed with her, and I'll remember that always, you know, like she was lovely, and it sticks in your mind. So those kids are going to love you forever. You've done a really good thing for them. So after that you did pantos. Now I'm not sure if we have pantos in the US, so is that like a classic story and popular music? Is that?
So we do, yeah. So obviously it's a very British thing, and I absolutely love them. And some people are like, oh, they look a bit like, they don't look very, some of them are really professional, amazing, but some people can say that they don't look very professional because their outfits are really weird, and the songs that we're doing and whatever. But that's the point of it. It's British. It's something for children. It's magical. It is effectively, it is a whole family show, because there'll be some jokes in there that the adults would definitely get. For the children, it would go over their heads.
Yeah.
But then there'll be lots of things for the children. They would love it. And so we do things like Cinderella or Aladdin, and I've played Princess Jasmine twice. I played Fairy Godmother in Cinderella, so I got to be a little bit more kooky, and I love that. I love being a bit weird, but being a princess all the time, that's hard. Would you believe? I don't know where my tiara is at the moment, but it was very difficult to try and just be the straight lace one, whereas if you were the fairy godmother, you could really have a laugh on stage. But they are a mix of like popular songs, old popular songs as well, get brought in there and change the words to fit the story, and it's just so much fun. And you'll have like illusionists, you'll have everything, and the magic carpet as well, which ruining it for the children now, but we're on like the big suspension thing, and it would lift us up into the air, but the children wouldn't see it because behind a black cloth, so they kind of thought that we were on a magic carpet. That wasn't until the lights came up for the entire audience, and then they saw the contraption that we were on. So yeah, do you know what? I always look at these stories, and then when people ask me questions about, like, you know, all panto and that, and then they all come back of all the funny things that have happened. There is professionalism there. I do professional things as well.
No, that sounds like so much fun. Do you have any other musical theatre roles you'd like to do?
I love Waitress. I went to see that and I cried my eyes out, just sob. it's just an amazing role. I love it. Phantom of the Opera, obviously, I would love to be in that, but I went for some auditions and they said, oh, it's a little bit too, I got too much of a strong voice for Christine. She had to be, you know, and a very voluptuous as well. And she had to be like 16 years old and you know, very young, sweet and innocent. And I'm more brassy and not. So, but they said, come back in a few years' time, you can play Carlotta. So,
there you go.
or West Side Story, I've always wanted to do that. But maybe, you know, I don't know. I just love to be in things, anything. I'd just throw myself at any audition. I just want it all. You know, just to play every role would be fantastic. And Les Mis as well. I love that. So.
Oh, of course.
But,
and you do.
But yeah, there's so many.
Yeah, so many good roles in theater. You have a new album coming out, right? So I've been seeing things about this. It's Dark Angel.
Yes, it's, you know, we put it on hold at the moment while everything's happening because we want to do a really big launch concert as well for this album. So it was scheduled to come out very soon, but now obviously pushing it back, so it might be the end of this year or it might be early next year. So we're just going to see how things go. Obviously this pandemic is something that we are out of control of, so I want to give people the best chance of being able to purchase the album as well and also enjoy it, be able to come to the concert whenever they may be. So yeah, so the concept behind obviously Dark Angel is that classical singers mostly are seen as very angelic and very. Take Catherine Jenkins. She's got that beautiful girl next door, the military sweetheart. And I've got, you know, this black hair and I'm very gothic with what I wear most of the time. I love that kind of dark vibe. And I also love rock music and metal. And so I kind of thought, well, I don't want to alienate my current audience, but I want to gain more followers that would be able to enjoy a different type of music. So we have taken songs like Radiohead's Creep, we've taken Alice Cooper's Poison, we've taken Muse songs, Soundgarden, we've even got a Madonna one in there as well. And we have made it into very dark, Hans Zimmer-esque style, classical crossover completely, with a cinematic feel that is going to just blow your socks off. And so, you know, I just think it's simple. We have got some kind of classical songs in there. We've got Benedictus and just so many more in there as well. And I'll just name them all. I can't do that. But it's just, it sounds so much better than I ever imagined. And that was due to the producer, Robin Hoffman, who I was working with. And we recorded the vocals in Berlin. And we had the Prague Film Harmonic Orchestra and Choir, and we recorded in the Dvorak Hall in Prague, and it was just phenomenal. And he put everything down, all the things that I said I wanted it to sound like, and twist things around, and he's made it 100 times better than what I could have ever imagined.
Oh, it sounds amazing. And I love what you said too, because I think, you know, again, back to Charlotte, it came in as a young kind of, it's very pure. Haley Westenra's album was pure. Catherine Jenkins, it's very, you know, and I mean, I love Songs of Praise. I love all of that, but we're also getting to be grown women. And, you know, so these songs are not necessarily...
We've got a rebellious side, I tell you. We've got a rebellious and a sexy side, and you know, classical music can be very straight-laced, but we need to show those other sides that we've got. You know, it's all right being, you know, the all the time, but let's show the other side, and women empowerment, and show what we've got and what we can actually do. Instead of just being stereotyped into one place of, oh, you sing classical music, so so people automatically go, oh, so it's God music. That's all I get sometimes. And I'm like, no, I was like, I'm doing Alice Cooper's Poison. So so let's turn it on its head. Let's make classical music popular and fun, and it should be fun. It shouldn't be so serious that we can't go out of those boundaries. Let's play with them. Let's play with different colours and bring them together and create something spectacular.
And you did try operas, which kind of did that. It took like a really fun twist. I think you were like even on a pole for Carmen, right? Like you were really, it was a very physical.
Yeah, so we had, there was so much. There was trampolining, pole dancing.
Wow.
And it was Pamela Tan Nicholson, who was Vanessa May's mum. And she took everything and turned it on its head. And we got a lot of stick from the press about it, because it was like they've taken these operas and they've destroyed them. But we haven't. What we're showing is the younger audience can appreciate these operas without thinking my mum would never go to an opera because she wouldn't feel inferior. We have to take the elitism out of it. And I know that there are, like, are taking things like that and really, experimenting with different things, making it more accessible for the younger generation. And that's all she was trying to do. She put Carmen in there, and Madame Butterfly, and just created these beautiful things that we could do. Carmen pole dancing. She wanted to utilize that form of dance because it is a form of dance. Mm-hmm. It's not what it's always perceived to be.
Right.
And so she said, yeah, Carmen's a flirty girl, so that's what she's going to do in the bar. But then, she's got that sensitive side as well, which you then later see. It was all led by women as well. Each opera was driven by the fact that it was lead females and that it was empowerment for women as well. So I loved it.
And it's this idea, again, we've kind of gotten used to. The classical world loves people sometimes once they're already gone. Like now Maria Callas is, can do no wrong, but they treated her quite badly while she was, a lot of people did, the critics.
Well, behind me, I'm a big fan of Maria Callas. I love her so much. I idolize her because she was crucified for her voice. It wasn't the norm. It was bigger at the bottom. It had harsher, higher tones. But who in this world is to say that is right or that is wrong? And I think that classical crossover is it just shows that you can sing however you want. You can take classical pieces, you can have whatever type of voice, and it still be widely accepted in the classical crossover kind of genre. And I think that's important. But she was heavily criticized, and she suffered a lot. And now that she has passed, it was like the opera singer of all time, the leading lady. And it's unfortunate that she never got to really see the outpour of love that there is there for her now. She obviously had it at that time, but not as much as she is highly regarded now.
I think it goes back to, the doers versus the people that are sitting at home writing reviews sometimes, like Anna Netrebko also, I love her, and she gets criticized a lot, and none of us are perfect, right? But they're doing it, they're making it happen. And it's totally different than, let me write my little comments online.
Exactly. And it's just one person's opinion. And unfortunately, artists like myself and you and everybody takes the one negative comment and will think about that above thousands of good comments. Because someone has dared to criticize your sound, your voice, your instrument is your soul, so it's going to hit us harder than it is probably playing the piano. That's an instrument. You can learn to sing, but your tone and everything comes from here, and this is you can't change that. So I have to kind of draw a line under comments and things, because I don't always see them, because I've had to take myself away from negative comments, and there will be only one or two, but I will get such a thing about them. So but it's just someone's opinion, so who cares?
No, that's great. I think, again, I had one teacher and she sent me down a really sad road. I had to switch because it really can put you in a very dark place. But I love that you're, you're focusing on so is there anything you want people to take from your music? Any kind of message or?
Yes, just be free, be who you want to be. Put music out there that hasn't got to have a stigma, hasn't got to fill because I'm doing this album completely self-funded. I have a couple of sponsors that have wanted to help me with this album, but it's complete. It's not got a label. It's not got anything like that. I mean, we are going to be bringing it out independently, but if a label wants to take it further, then that will be what will be, and that's fine. But it's, you know, when you do get with a label, they kind of then put you into the position of do what they want you to do, not what you want to do. So this album is totally me just going, I can sing rock music classically. I can use my voice in a different way. You'll hear different parts of my voice that on my other album you've never heard before. And I just want to say that it's freedom. This is me. This is me. That should have been on my album, but but it is. You know, enjoy it for what it is. Listen to the music. Be transported to a more film-esque kind of, you know, scenery, and take it, all your emotions. Just close your eyes and listen to it, because that's where I want to take you. I don't want you to listen to me and think she's not singing with the correct technique, because yeah. as far as technique goes, I don't listen to it. I listen to how I feel inside. So you'll hear things that sound more vulnerable, like in Creep, my producer said to me, can you sing that a bit more vulnerable? It was totally against my nature, because I wanted to sing everything with a straight line, and that's my classical training. But then he said, but you want the audience to listen to you and think that, you know, you're singing this song and you feel like a creep, a weirdo, that you don't belong in this society. And so that's how we did it. And then every song from then on just went, and we put things in on like the drop of a hat that we'd never even rehearsed, and we were like, right, let's just do it, because we felt it. So it's artistic preferences, and I don't want people to listen to my album and think that technique wasn't right, because that technique for me is right. It's how you perceive it. So that's it, really.
Well, we can't wait to hear the album. I can't let you go though before. This is kind of a fun question, but I'm obsessed with vintage fashion. And so since you came on Britain's Got Talent and had the victory rolls, I just had to talk to you about.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've got a dress on today. I don't know, I'll try and show you. It's by the Pretty Dress Company.
Yay!
And they do vintage style dresses. So
Love
we have
it.
the tiny waist and the pencil and the little bows. And that's my favourite. And had I known, I would have put my hair in victory rolls, because they're my favourite. But vintage is something I absolutely adore. Victory rolls and the outfits. And that's sadly where the TV programme changed me from being with the victory rolls, the kind of, you know, quirky outfit that I had on, very vintage. They changed it into blue dress, white dress, classical, angel. And that's where I'm going. No more. Let's be ourselves. You know, let's embrace all styles, because you can sing whatever you want and you can still dress whatever you like. You know, it's amazing. So
because it's you.
Yeah. Yes.
How did you get started in that? Was it like, because your sister also does hair, right?
My sister, yeah. So my sister Lois, she is a hairstylist for George's Hair Salon, and she loves all the victory. She's very much into the vintage stuff. So she did my hair for me that day, and said, "Oh, how do you want it?" And we played around with different ideas, and then I borrowed her jacket as well, which was very vintage. So I get a lot of my style inspiration from her, and we are very similar. So yes, I've got her to thank for that, really.
That's so awesome. I love watching your pictures. You did like a kind of a pinup photo shoot once, like with the phone. I loved it.
They are my favorite shoots, because there's something classic and timeless, and also Dita Von Teese is a very big inspiration of mine. And although she does burlesque and people are like, you know, I think it's a beautiful art, and she makes it very elegant and glamorous. And so I try and take bits from, you know, like my sister and from Dita Von Teese, and create my own kind of spin on it, and with a bit more of a rocky vibe. So that's, you know, that's how I live my life.
Well, I love it. That's true. At home, we're probably all just like in pajamas, but
absolutely all the time.
Well, it's been so nice getting to talk to you, Lucy. Really has.
You too. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, and thank you for being part of the concert, and we'll stay tuned to hear when Dark Angel is coming out, everyone. Bye!
Thank you, bye!